Hello students, continue with the chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life, that is cell. Today we are going to discuss nucleus and the nucleus, the structure, the different parts of the nucleus, their functions, and the types of cells based on the presence or absence of true nucleus. Okay. So without wasting time, we just start from the first slide, that is nucleus. Now written here, nucleus is also known as control center of the cell. Look, in our body the control center is brain, right? Brain controls all the functions, physiology of our body the same way, because in multicellular organism division of labor is there. So we have the organs, we have the organ system. The same type of division of labor is also present at the cellular level. Okay, because in the previous slide we have I've already discussed with you that the single cell is also capable of performing all the functions which are the important characteristics of living organisms. This single cell has the cell organelles, and these cell organelles, they have the various organelles which are responsible for various functions. The cell has generally one single nucleus, which is actually known as the control center, because this nucleus controls all the functions which are occurring, the physiology which is occurring inside that nucleus, right? So the nucleus is double membrane bound cell organelle. Double membrane bound, this is the outer membrane. Outer membrane. Of course, this membrane should be porous, right? So the outer membrane, and this one is the inner membrane. Double membrane bound cell organelle. No need to mention here that the double cell membrane bound cell organelles are nucleus, mitochondria, then chloroplast. Okay, so all these three are very, very important cell organelles. Inner membrane. Now, outer and inner membrane, there should be the intermembranal space. Yes, so here is intermembranal space. Intermembrane space. Now this should be the fluid filled. Now one difference in mitochondria, chloroplast and nucleus, these three cell organelles are double membrane bound and they have the pores in the outer membrane. Here the nuclear membrane has the pore, you can see here, and these pore size is the largest. Pore size, the nuclear pores are the largest. Now can you think that why the nuclear pores in the nucleus especially are the larger in size? I'm going to tell you. See, the nucleus has, we all know that it has the heredity, it stores the heredity material, that is the DNA, and this DNA is present in the chromosome. Okay, the DNA, chromosome, chromatin, heredity material. Now this DNA is responsible for all the characteristic features, right? So DNA is going to form the RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, which is actually the genetic material in all living organisms except virus. And of course, the virus is not at all the living organism. It is a link between living and non-living, right? So in all living organisms, DNA is the genetic material. This DNA is going to form the RNA, and this RNA forms the protein. Actually, this is known as central dogma of living, of our life. That DNA forms RNA, RNA forms proteins. What does it mean? Information flows in this direction. One direction only. So, the nucleus has the DNA. This DNA forms the RNA. Now, this much of step, that is formation of RNA. This step occurs in the nucleus, inside the nucleus. So, inside the nucleus, DNA forms RNA. But the rest of the process, what is that? that is the translation, that is the formation of protein with the help of this RNA and ribosomes, which are attached with the endoplasmic reticulum. Now this RNA has to come out. This RNA has to come out from the nuclear pore, and this RNA should be, should be safe. There should be no wear and tear of the RNA in the beginning and the end. So this intact RNA should come out. This intact RNA should come out. Now this intact RNA strand which is coming, it needs space here. If less space will be available, this RNA will, the RNA which is coming out from the nucleus, now this RNA should be intact. There should be no cut in any part of the RNA. Then only the RNA will be able to form complete protein. So for that, this complete protein, correct protein, okay, this RNA will come out, and with the help of this ribosomes, the RNA will form the protein, and this ribosome, this ER will pinch off the protein. It will go to the Golgi body, and then the Golgi body will pinch off the protein after modification and then packaging. Okay, so the first function we have seen, that the first part of the nucleus, that is the nuclear membrane, which is double membrane. Nuclear pores are present. These nuclear pores have the function to pass the substances which are formed inside that nucleoplasm and exchange of material between the cell and the nucleus. Right? Now we come to actually the nucleus is present in all eukaryotic cells. This is the control center I told you. So it should be present in all eukaryotic cell, but in some cells the nucleus is absent. Even in eukaryotic cell, I've written here RBC, red blood cells, and the red blood cells RBC has the nucleus in immature phase. Immature RBC has the nucleus, but during maturation this nucleus disappears. And this nucleus disappears because actually you all know that RBC has the function of transport of O2. So the more the space will be available, the more transport of oxygen will be there. Okay, so the nucleus disappear, and the RBC in our body is, biconcave shape. It is disc shape, so that maximum oxygen can be absorbed. So the RBC is the exception where the nucleus is absent. In plant cell also, the sieve tubes which are there in the plant cell for the transport of food. So in plants also one exception is there. Okay, that is the sieve tube. Sieve tube also does not have the nucleus, right? Now, generally one nucleus is there in the cells, but some organisms have more than one nucleus, yes. It may dikaryotic, two nucleus. It may have more than two nucleus. In general, naturally, in slime molds, see slime molds, more than one nucleus present in slime molds. What are slime molds? Slime molds are actually single-celled fungus structure. Slime molds, which are the fungus, single-celled, and they will come in Protista group, right? So slime molds are the examples of having more than one nucleus in their cell. Now we come to the next part. We have the first part, that is the nuclear membrane and its function. Now we come to the next part, that is chromosome. Children, chromosome is actually present in the form of a network which is known as chromatin network, this one. And this chromatin network, look, you can see in this slide. This chromatin network, this is the cell, this is the nucleus, and the nucleus, actually the nucleus has the chromosomes present in the form of chromatin, but this chromatin just before the cell division. Before the cell division occurs for cell repair, for for growth, and also at the time of reproduction. Cell division is the important process, important event, okay, which occurs. Now, at the time of cell division, this chromatin network get arranged itself in the form of rod-like structure, which is known as chromosome. And these chromosomes, we all know that they are fixed in number in the species. Like human beings, they have 46 number of chromosomes which are present in pair. So we have 23 pairs. Now, I'm using the term pairs, right? Last year in 9th standard, one topic has been added by NCERT, which was really very good, that cell division. So we will study in detail cell division in the coming slides, because this is the part of this chapter. So there I'll explain you the details of chromosomes, how many number, and how are they going to divide at the time of repair or the reproduction. So just to mention here that this chromatin network, it arranged itself in the form of rod-like structure which are known as chromosome. Now this chromosome has, you must have heard the term, that is DNA. So the DNA is actually, and here is the structure which join that two arms of the chromosome. This is actually known as centromere. Now this coiled structure is actually the DNA, helically coiled, and this DNA, this one is the DNA complete, and this DNA has the structure which are actually, this has the structures which are made up of, nitrogenous base. It's written here, G here, A, C and T. Okay, the DNA has, the repeating units of nitrogenous bases, which you will going to, study in senior classes, the detailed structure of DNA. But here you can understand that the DNA has one structural unit which is repeating thousands of times. Okay. Now the repeating unit is known as nucleotide. Here are the structures which are present in that repeating unit. These are nitrogenous bases. Now this part of DNA, it has got the group of the repeating units which are responsible for one trait. Children, trait means character. So the part of the DNA which is responsible for one trait, it is known as gene. What does it mean? I've told you earlier that nucleus is responsible for storage of hereditary material. Nucleus is responsible for inheritance of, inheritance of this hereditary material from one generation to another generation. So the hereditary material means which are responsible for characteristics of a particular species. Now characteristic of particular species, so characters are actually expressed with the help of that DNA, and the DNA has the genes. The genes are actually the group of nucleotide which are, I've already told you right now that the structural unit which is repeating. So the genes are present on DNA, and DNA is present on chromosome, and chromosomes are present in nucleus. So this way relation. Now here, first cell, then nucleus has chromatin, then chromatin has chromosome, then chromosome has DNA, and then DNA has gene. So actually the functional and structural unit of DNA is known as gene. It's written here. DNA. Chromosome is made up of nucleic acid. This is DNA, which contain information which is necessary for formation of cell also. Even all the things. Formation of different types of proteins, formation of cell membrane, formation of new cells. Functional segment of DNA is known as gene, and this definition you have to learn it because the question is there in your NCERT. Gene is actually the short segment of DNA, okay, and these contain the instructions so that your cell will make the protein. Actually, the traits are expressed in the form of proteins, right? Okay, so each gene, like group of these nucleotides are there, so each gene will be responsible for one trait. So if I take the examples of trait like hair color, skin color, eye color, your height, okay, all these traits which are the important characteristics of human being. Now we come to so that's all for nuclear membrane. Then the nucleus contain DNA and RNA. One more thing we will discuss here, that the nucleoplasm which is present in cell, this nucleoplasm has the nucleoplasm is also known as karyoplasm, right? Now this nucleoplasm contain one important structure which is known as nucleolus. Besides nucleolus, it has the chromatin material we have already studied. It has different types of proteins which are responsible for the formation of DNA, for the formation of RNA, okay? And this nucleolus plays very important role because the function of nucleolus is to form ribosomes, and the ribosomes are made up of RNA and proteins, and that is why they are also known as ribonucleoprotein particle. Ribonucleoprotein particle, because they are made up of RNA also, protein also, and they are present inside the nucleus. This ribosome is formed by nucleolus, and then the ribosomes will move out and then attached on the ER, membrane of the ER, and responsible for providing site for protein synthesis. So I think we have done all the parts, that is the nuclear membrane over, chromosome over, nucleoplasm which is the matrix which contain the materials which are responsible for which are taking part in all the reactions which are going, and the nucleolus. Okay, now we'll move to, based on this, the presence of nucleolus, based on the presence of nuclear membrane, right? In biology, the cell is divided into two main groups. Based on what? Based on presence or absence of nucleolus and presence or absence of nuclear membrane. See, DNA is present, chromosome is present, but maybe nuclear membrane or nucleolus absent. So based on the presence of nucleolus and nuclear membrane, the cell is the living organisms, the cell is divided into prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Okay, now this is taken as the main basis of classification of all the living kingdom, which is used by Whittaker, and it is there in the next coming chapter in your book. Okay, so Whittaker also used as the first basis of classification, that presence or absence of nuclear membrane and nucleolus. First, I'll discuss prokaryotic cell, very primitive cells. Why primitive cells? Because the pro means primitive, karyotic here means nucleus. So primitive, and karyotic means prokaryote word relate with the nucleus. Why primitive nucleus? Prokaryotic cell in which primitive nucleus is present, not the true nucleus is present, because they do not have, first one, they do not have nuclear membrane. So nuclear membrane absent, nucleolus absent, right? And the DNA or chromosome is present, right? So here nucleolus is not required, right? Nucleus is not required to have DNA in the cell. Got it? Yes. The prokaryotic organism. So prokaryote, a type of organism. A prokaryote is a unicellular organism that lacks membrane-bound nucleus, mitochondria, or any other membrane-bound organelle. Yes. Membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. Right? Now, nucleus absent, nuclear membrane absent, membrane-bound cell organelles. Of course, the mitochondria will be absent because membrane-bound cell organelle is absent. Nucleolus is absent. Only the single chromosome which is present in the area which is known as nucleoid region in the cytoplasm. So nucleoid is present where this is nucleoid region where the single chromosome having DNA molecule. Then the cytoplasm is there, and no membrane bound cell organelle like mitochondria absent, chloroplast absent, lysosomes, then all the other cell organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, all are absent. But ribosomes are present, right? And ribosomes which are present, they are of primitive type. In eukaryotic and prokaryotic ribosomes, there is a difference. So prokaryotic type of ribosomes are present. Plasma membrane is there, cytoplasm is there. Of course, the prokaryotic cell has the cell wall also, and the cell wall structure is also different from eukaryotic cell. Okay, this prokaryotic cell, all the prokaryotic kingdom, prokaryota, this can be again divided into two domains. So now a different type of classification has been given, the recent classification, that in prokaryotes also there are two types of organisms, archaea, that is archaebacteria, and eubacteria. Prokaryotic cells, if we see the examples, bacteria and cyanobacteria. I am writing separately cyanobacteria because this cyanobacteria has also the different structure than bacteria. Okay, cyanobacteria is actually they are more similar to the algae. So earlier they were actually considered in the plant only, in the algae only. Blue-green algae is the older name, and cyanobacteria is the new name because of the difference in the cellular organization of the algae. Algae has eukaryotic cellular organization and cyanobacteria has prokaryotic cellular organization. So prokaryotes are divided into two domains, archaea, primitive, and eubacteria, typical bacterial structure. They have actually the difference in their cell wall structure, and this archaebacteria has the cell wall structure which help them to withstand in adverse condition. Okay, which help them to withstand in adverse condition. So they can tolerate extreme environment condition because of the different cell wall than the eubacteria. Okay, so archaea now is considered as the most primitive. After that, bacteria. Now in the next slide, we have already discussed. Now we will revise prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That is no membrane bound. You can write here primitive nucleus. And U means true. So true nucleus. Now membrane bound cell organelle is absent. Membrane bound cell organelle, that is nucleus also. No membrane bound nucleus here, and membrane bound nucleus means you can write here nuclear membrane is present. nuclear membrane is absent. Here nuclear membrane present. Now cell wall is made up of different cell wall. I told you that eukaryote and prokaryote, peptidoglycan, yes. And the cell wall in eukaryote, plant cell, cellulose, fungi, chitin. Chitin is also the polysaccharide. No membrane bound again. Organelles means cell organelles. Mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosomes, Golgi body, all are absent. Here membrane bound cell organelles are present. So compartmentalization, different, the cell has so many cellular organelles and the various compartments are there. Have pili and fimbriae, right, for adhesion, for attachment, and flagella for movement, of course. But this flagella have, different structure, different chemical composition than the flagella which is present in eukaryotic cell. They do not have, the eukaryote do not have a fimbriae, pili. They do not have a pili. But the cilia or flagella is present, and this cilia or flagella, even they have the chemical structure is different. You will study in the higher classes. Okay. The mucilaginous capsule is present. They are single-celled, of course, but sometimes these cells together form a filamentous structure. Cyanobacteria, especially we see in nostoc. So thus mucilaginous sheath is present to protect because they are predominantly aquatic. Here no mucilaginous capsule present. Okay. So internal structures present. They are inside the single cell only. The cell size is smaller, very, very small, 0.5 micrometer to 100 micrometer. 1 micrometer means 10 raised to minus 6 meter. Okay, so this much smaller size. Cell size here ranges from 10 to 150 micrometer. Okay, so that's all for the difference in prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Now, eukaryotic animal cell and plant cell, we will study the some cell organelles function. I have already uploaded the video where you can see the functions of these cell organelles. So animal cell, typical plant cell, and in the previous diagram you have seen the typical bacterial cell, right? Here is a single flagella and this one's the structure. This is structure which we have just now studied, that is actually the pili, attachment. Okay, more in number, cilia 1 or 2, pili more in number. So now there is a time for worksheet questions. Plasma membrane is made up of these things, these cell organelles I have done in the previous lectures. So go through that video so that you will be able to give the answers. Plasma membrane is made up of lipids and proteins, because this is actually the trilamina where the lipid bilayer is there and the proteins are present in between. Protein is sandwiched between two lipid layers. Primary cell wall is made up of only cellulose. When the secondary cell wall is laid, then the lignin or suberin or deposition will be there. The third, cell membrane is permeable. Permeable means which allow solvent, solute, all to come in. Impermeable, which does not allow anything to come. Semi-permeable, which allow only solvent to come, not the solute. Selectively permeable, which allows selected solute and selected solvent to enter inside the cell. Now the cell membrane is selectively permeable, cell wall permeable, impermeable, semi-permeable, selective permeable. Cell wall is actually permeable. Primary cell wall allows, especially primary cell wall, allows all the solute and solvent to enter inside the cell, right? So this is the answer A, right? Here is the answer D. Here is the answer D. And here is, the primary plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. Here is the answer B. And here is the answer lipids and protein, that is D. Okay. So the last question. a solution is said to be hypotonic when concentration means amount, right? Concentration of solution is higher than that of the cell. Concentration of solution means the cell is there. When the solute is dissolved in that solvent, then the solution is formed. So solution means solute, when the solute is added. So more concentrated solution means more solute is added. So concentration of solution is higher than that of the cell. What does it mean? A cell is there. The concentration of solution may be here the 40% water, then 60% solute, and then the solution, the concentration will be higher. Now in the next, the concentration of solution medium is equal to that of cell. In both 40% water, 60% water inside, 40% water, 60% water outside. Right? Now first one, concentration of solution is higher, that is 60% solute outside. Here 60% water is there and 40% solute. That was actually the first case. But here same, 60% water and 40% solute on both the sides, equal. Concentration of solution is lower than that of the cell. What does it mean? Now the concentration of solution, here the solute is 40% and water is, the condition will be reversed, right? The condition will be reversed. Water is 60%, more water. Inside the cell, solute is 60%. Now we have already studied that the water will move from its higher concentration to lower concentration. Hypotonic means more amount of water. So more amount of water in the solution. What does it mean? When the more amount of water is there, the concentration of solution is lower. Here is water 60%. Here is water in the solution 40%. So here less water, here more water. And that is why we can say that the hypotonic solution means the concentration of solution is lower than the cell. The cell will absorb water. The solution is said to be hypotonic when the concentration of solution is lower. What does it mean? The water is more, the water is more. And here the cell which is present, the cell absorbs water from it. Water will move from medium, that is solution, to cell. Right? Okay. That's all. Thank you, children. Now in the next slide we'll study the types of cell division which is present in cell. Thank you.